thought that there was a kind of ancient race of people that they call fairies. A way of talking about the dead. These are all other ways of thinking about fairies. I'm choosing something different, but we can talk about those afterwards. I'm talking about abuse for fairies rather than a derivation of fairies. That is, how were they used as a weapon of the weak? And by weak, I mean subordinate cultures that don't have the power to confront dominant cultures, but instead have their own ways of doing things. And I'm just elaborating the story a little bit because I think it can this. Foot dragging, small lies, petty theft, improvised ignorance, ways to imagine, explain.
Do you have to do anything like this, or just have it on?
You know, I call it a weapon of the weak, not that people are weak to do it, but it's what people resort to when you don't have the power. So fairies are, in this way, a way of addressing these problems. Okay, let's do an example here. This began the whole thing for me. In A Winter's Tale, one of Shakespeare's late plays, the old shepherd finds an exposed baby, Faerie Folklore. He assumes she is illegitimate. He says, "She was some scape. Though I am not bookish, yet I can read Waiting Gentlemen in the Scape. This has been some stair work, some trunk work, some behind door work. They were warmer that got this than the poor things here. I'll take it up. Poor kitty." So, have we started filming? Or
yes, we have.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, hi. Hi. So, there's no doubt that he thinks that this is an illegitimate child. Those of you who know the play may know that what she is an exposed child. That the king thinks his wife has been adulterous, and this is not really his child. He orders the child to be exposed. So a few lines later, however, he presents the baby to his son as a fairy changeling. "Look thee here, take up, boy, open it, let's see. It was told me I should be rich by the fairies. This is some changeling. Open it, what's within, boy? This is fairy gold, boy, and 'twill prove so. Up with it, keep it close." Okay, so what is going on here? Why would the old shepherd present this baby he thinks is illegitimate as a changeling? A changeling was, the idea is if there is a human baby, a fairy will take the human baby and take it back into the fairy world and leave a fairy baby in exchange. So changeling could be the fairy baby, and A Midsummer Night's Dream, the changeling baby is a mortal baby in fairyland. So the old shepherd doesn't think that it's a fairy baby. Doesn't think it's a changeling. Why does he tell the clown, the son is called the clown in the script, that it's a fairy? Why do we think this? What is really going on here? I could ask you what you think, or I could just say what I think is going on here. Either thing. What I think is going on here, okay, is that if he presents the baby as a fairy to his son, then changeling child sounds so much better than bastard. Does it not? So when he raises up Faerie Folklore, she's 16 years old, and within this play, then she is a changeling and not a bastard, which is a much better way of saying it. It also gives him the right to the gold, the fairy gold. He doesn't think it's fairy gold. What is this gold? This is an unspoken contract. Payment by the mother of this child to whatever person would be kind enough to raise this child. And this would be the gold that would reward him. So he's a very nice guy. He could theoretically take up the gold and leave the baby, but of course he doesn't do that. So this is what I would call a white lie. Now, a white lie is a very complicated transaction. A white lie happens when you say something you know is not true, and the person you're talking to knows it's not true, but no one calls it a lie. Let's say I say to my husband, "Does this dress make me look fat?" And he says, "I know it makes me look fat." He'll say, "Oh no, of course not. You look excellent, dear." "I know I don't look excellent, dear." But it's a complicated transaction. Let's transfer this to the tooth fairy. And we'll go back to the early modern period. This is the one question I wish that I had children here to answer. Those of you who put money under the pillows of a child as a tooth fairy, do you think your child really thinks it's a tooth fairy? Maybe at the beginning, maybe when they're 4 or 5. By the time they get to be 7, do they really think it's a tooth fairy? Or do they know that it's money that their mother has put under the pillow, right? But they're not going to say so. Because if they say so, they'll stop putting it under the pillow, right? So it's a white lie. So what this is a white lie. He believes this is a bastard child. He believes this is gold that's given by the mother, but no one's going to say so. Instead, this is a changing child fairy world. It is a white lie in the same sense as the tooth fairy is. Okay, so what did the clown think? Did his son think that this was fairy lore and this is a changing child? Is everyone in on the secret? Or does he really think that they're fairies? Is this an understanding throughout the whole village that this child is a bastard that you're going to take in for pity and call it changeling? Or or do people really think that? My guess is that except for the denser members of the group, they probably are in on this strategic communication, which was not meant to deceive, but also was not meant to be recognized. Now what happens when outsiders hear these tales, John Aubrey, people, cultural historians in the 19th and early 20th century, is they say, well, country people believe in fairies. Well, do they believe in fairies? Or do outsiders only think that they do? Because they're using fairy illusions to cover other forms of communication. Okay, let's take Cymbeline, another late play. Imogen is a bedtime prayer. To your protection I commend me, God, fairies and tempters of the night. Guard me, beseech you. She's asking to be protected from fairies and from tempters of the night. At that moment, the evil Iachimo is hiding in a trunk in her room. It's going to emerge from the trunk when she sleeps, take a bracelet from off of her wrist, and convince her husband she has committed adultery with him. Fairies elicit sexuality. Becomes a big deal. In the 19th century, one of the things I don't understand is how in the 19th century fairies became so popular. I think in one way they were linked with illicit sexuality, with the unconscious, as Freud would describe it. Okay, this becomes more explicit in the 30s. And I think since we're being filmed, I should probably read the handout if that's all right with you, because people won't have the handout. So in the prose pamphlet, Robin Goodfellow, as Mad Pranks and Merry Jests, 1628, a tavern hostess tells of Robin's mother, a proper young wench, whose room was repeatedly visited at night by a he-fairy, who forced her to dance with him, leaving her silver and jewels at his departure. When she became pregnant, his visits ceased. Asked the identity of the father, she replied, a man that nightly came to visit her, but early in the morning he would go his way. Whither she knew not, he went so suddenly. The identity of the father was deduced by an old woman, who told her that a fairy had gotten her with child, and comforted her by saying that the child must be fortunate, it had so noble a father as a fairy was, and should work many strange wonders. While in this story the father was in fact a fairy, the girl's experience evokes more ordinary and sordid encounters at a time when certain girls were often perceived as fair sexual gain by their masters. At that time, when a woman was giving birth out of wedlock, the midwife was supposed, in some circles, in some groups, was supposed to force her to tell the name of the father, or she would not have the advantage of the midwife's help giving birth. Some women, at least one, and presumably others, said that the father was the king of the fairies. Not that she thought that anyone would believe it was the king of the fairies. That was her way of saying, I'm not going to tell you who the father of this child is. I'll say it's the king of the fairies. Now please continue to help me to give birth to this baby. So again, a white lie. A lie that is not really a lie because it's not intended to deceive. It's intended to cover, which is different. 1665 edition of Reginald Scott's Discovery of Witchcraft, which came out first in 1598, around that time, their edition. The nightly escapades of jocund and facetious spirits who, like fairies, pinched maids black and blue at night, escalated to kidnapping and even mutilation, according to this account in Scott's work. Many such, my goodness, have been taken away by said spirits for a fortnight or a month together, being carried with them in chariots